invest over $1 billion in the United States, we're going to give expedited reviews to everybody because everyone's afraid they're going to come in and get caught in the quagmire, which is very prevalent in the United States, unfortunately, the quagmire of environmental and various other regulations and rules. And I made it a point of telling people, if you invest $1 billion or more, and we'll do this for people with far less too, but we guarantee it. We're going to move them quickly through the environmental process. Sometimes people held up 12, 13, 14, 15 years. I saw it with plants in Louisiana where I got it approved in literally a week. They were through the review in 1 week after spending 14 and a half years trying to get it, and they were going nowhere. It was a terrible thing. So I've been a victim of that myself over the years. And I think I know all the games and all the tricks that are played. And much of it is just done to stop progress. So we're going to be helping you and everybody else that comes to the United States and wants to invest their money, that you don't get tied up for the rest of your life and you can't do anything. This commitment further underscores that many of the greatest business leaders on earth are seeing a very bright economic future for America since the election. As you know, very.
Okay, I'm wondering, can you guys hear me all right? Can you guys hear me? I'm just doing a sound check here. Just want to know if you can hear me. Let me take Dragonfly down here. Good morning, everyone out there. My show started to go in a couple of different things. I was getting ADD, I think. Thank you, Colleen says yes. Hey, Colleen, how are you doing? So what is actually happening out there? I'm just going to mute this. I don't know if I can get CC on here, but he's delivering some more remarks. I thought it was going to be something a little bit different. My husband actually notified me that he was coming on. I said, let me just see what he's talking about. It's just more other countries investing back in the United States, which kind of ties into my top stories and what I'm going to talk to you guys about. So it's the top stories that I'm actually seeing out there, and I take them off of X if you're concerned with that. And first of all, I want to say good morning to all of you. I hope you guys are feeling really good, that you feel good. You've got God with you. And as crazy as 2025 is going to be, we just need to stay close together. Because all of us that think the same way, and you've been following me for almost 5 years, I think it's been 5 years, basically know that we think a lot different from other people, and they can't, whether you want to say they're awake or not, however you want to phrase it, it's just the way that we process information is completely different from 10 years ago, let's say. Excuse me, let me get some water here. So the first thing I did before I came on here is I wanted to talk about United States. Ouch, just hit my knee. I'm trying to watch the puppies down below and be careful with them. Instead, I get hurt. Ow. You ever hit the corner of your knee on a desk? It's like your funny bone in your knee. Oh. Anyways, where I'm going with this is hello. I want to say hello to Rumble out there. If you are out there, let me say hello real quickly before I start getting into my top stories that I'm seeing out there. Decoder's out there. Yes, good morning. So this is really interesting. Trump's here, his son, Don Jr., and I think, what's the other guy's name? Charlie Kirk are out in Denmark. So the top stories are Zuckerberg is going to lighten up on censorship. He's now claiming that he was bamboozled by the billionaires, which we all know is a bunch of bullshit. He is the bamboozler. And of course, Greenland is the hot topic right now. So some of my thoughts on this is China comes into the United States, buys land all around our militaries and other places. And I've got so many stories out there of how much land that they actually bought up. But then Trump wants to go and buy Greenland. Two different things. I don't want people to confuse this. It's because of the fact that Greenland is basically, it's cold. I'll show you some videos of Don Jr. out there shortly. And basically they are getting help from Denmark, and I don't know if they're getting the right help that they need. But I honestly do feel that if Trump is saying he wants to help out Greenland, it's not for all of their things that they have that the gems that they may have in their land. I think and I don't get that from him. I think it's more or less how can we help them flourish as a country. I truly believe that, and if I'm wrong, you guys let me know what your thoughts out there and what are you hearing out there. So I started out saying, this is my land, right? That was a song. This is my land. This is your land. Da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden, Chinese own our land, and we're like, what the hell? We've been hearing about this. There's been very sporadic stories out there about this, and so we need to really talk about it. Every country out there basically has come to the United States to flourish, if you're an immigrant, right? And there are laws going all the way back to, I think Lyndon B. Johnson screwed up the immigration program, if you will. But I'm going to get back to that in a minute. So also the other top story is out there is back in 2020, there were some riots that were happening, and they're basically now saying that Milley was using a do on the people, if you guys know what that is. Also, the other top stories are the income taxes that are happening out there. And also, UK is arresting US citizens. And I think this has been going on for a while now. For anything that they say that the UK doesn't like, they'll be arrested. So they're basically losing their First Amendment in another country, which you don't have those amendments, those constitutional rights if you're in another country. So just to let you know that also, too, I saw another video out there where I think there were people that were robbing, stealing. The police captured them in Orange County, California, and they're basically saying it's almost like you got to catch and release us. And they're saying, no, you're in a different county. You better know where the heck you are doing. So this is a crazy time to be alive. It really is. If you just stay in your center of who you are, your goodness in your heart, and what you came in when you basically were incepted, if you will. And so just stay true who you are, stay with like minds. And that's what I truly do believe. I have a lot of arguments, even with my husband, over certain things. The whole thing about Michael J. Fox, he just said they gave him the medal because they feel sorry for him because he's got Parkinson's. And I took it a little bit further. Usually I bite my tongue and I walk away, and this time I didn't. And he just looks at me like in such disgust, like I am like off my rocker. And we're still dealing with it. It's never going to change. It's just how we react to it. So that's one of the things that, I'm learning from all this is, say what you need to say, but be very careful how far you want to go with it. Let's just kind of jump over here. And, I just want to also, too, if anybody is from the Italian descent, today is Italian Tricolor Day, also known as a festival. Festa di Tricolor. It's a day to celebrate and honor the three colors of the Italian flag, which I didn't know until I opened up X. And so how much of an Italian am I? I'm an American Italian, right? Everybody's got, African American, American Italian. We derive from some country, some nationality. Once you're here after a few generations, you're basically just an American. You eat the American food. You talk like American. You have your different dialects depending on which part of the country that you're from. You are a true American. So the Italian flag, which is colors are green, white, and red. These colors have a rich history and symbolic meaning dating back to the Roman Republic. Green represents hope. White represents purity, I do believe. And let's see what else it is. History. Purity is white, and the red represents the blood of the martyrs. And we are still being martyrs throughout all of this stuff here. But in any case, I do want to take you to one other story right now about the Denmark. We have what's his name, Don Jr. traveling. He's already landed, by the way, if you don't know that. And I'm just trying to get myself organized here. All right. This is more on the immigration. Did I lose my Don Jr.? All right. So this is the first story. They're just showing you here. They're coming in for a landing. They've already landed, but they're coming in for a landing. That's their target down there, which is Denmark. I thought that was kind of cute. But is Trump going above and beyond to basically save the people of Denmark? Here's the flag that I was just talking about of Italy. It really doesn't mean too much to me. There's certain traditions from my mother that she carried on, and a lot of it has stopped. It stopped with my generation, if you will. But I still love pasta, and pasta loves me. All right, so these are the top stories that we have going on, and I found this one really interesting about the Grand Canyon in Egypt, and I'm sure that you guys who follow a lot of other channels out there already know about this. Why do they stop us? Why is there no go zones in the Grand Canyon? What is it that we don't know that they have down there? That's for another day, another dollar. And let's see here. So the best compliment in life is that no matter what was thrown at you, you were resilient enough to preserve and to rise out of the ashes. That is just so true. And I feel like we can wear that badge of honor of I'm kind of sensitive and emotional. I can be very emotional about a lot of things that have gone on, and I just kind of feel like it's tiring, and we have to find a new way to, bring our energy back up again. So Trump Force One has landed in Greenland. That's what the Jack is basically letting us know. And here it is actually coming in. Okay, what else do we have out here? So much stuff is out there. Let's see, so much has been repeated, but I think we just all need a real good laugh right here. Called us for a special caring touch. Visiting angels care so much. Visiting angels, America's choice in home care. Oh my goodness, term limits, age limits, you guys call it. There's just falling apart, and I think they said further up here, somebody else was in a wheelchair now, but we we can never let this happen again. Yeah, this is more. This is an interesting one. Just to let you know who has been running our country, and look at the age of the people.
A PDF file to an email. These people probably don't even know how to connect their phone to the Wi-Fi. These people haven't worked a real fucking job in probably 30 years. And also keep in mind that once you get voted into one of these political positions, you get paid at minimum like $200,000 for the rest of your life. So they can just sit in Congress, do absolutely nothing, and just age gracefully, in quotation marks. The worst part about elderly people being in political power is that they're not even going to have to live through the decisions that they are making on behalf of everyone else. They'll be gone by the time actual real consequences come from their actions that they're deciding on right now. It just makes me sick. And if you look down there, I don't see a single person that looks like they are even at the age of 40. Every single one of these people is 60 plus, and there's a reason for that. The daily reminder that
it definitely is. Let me come back to you guys here. This is crazy. It really is. They're making all these laws and everything they put into place, and they won't even be around. They don't even understand how it affects. They're just all in their ego, running their ego. And that's what we're seeing a lot of. We're just seeing a lot of these powerful millionaires, billionaires, all in their ego. Now, I happened to watch Tucker Carlson's show yesterday. The first time ever, I was disappointed with his show. And I'll tell you why. So here they're millionaires, right? Tucker, I think, is worth $450 million. He's got 3 homes, across the country. They're all millionaires. They've all made their money. And yet all of these people that have jumped on and have gotten fired from the major networks, mainstream media, started their own social media channels, and they all have got millions that are following. We're out there complaining about how hard it was for them to get fired. He was in a Tucker. Let me back it up. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Billy Bush, Billy Bush was the guy that had a recording of Trump about a female anatomy, if you guys recall it. They were on a bus, and Billy came out to finally say his side to Tucker about what happened, how they got access to that, and so on, and how he had basically somewhat of a nervous breakdown after that happened because his whole life was shattered. I get that. I totally get that, especially when you've got a huge ego. And Tucker was fired. Megyn Kelly was fired. Megyn Kelly walked away with $60 million from being fired. She was the only one that was smart enough that got the money and ran. There's so much of this, but you know what? They're the 1%. The billionaires are the percentage. They're the higher percentage. I want to start hearing more stories. And that's why I said, if I come back, I want to start hearing more stories of the people, that built this country, right? Those are the stories. So it all started with bib overalls or breeches, whatever you want to call it. And now the suits are taking credit for everything that was, if we go back to like the immigrants, right? Every nationality has come over into this country, and every nationality had to survive in New York at Ellis Island. And I could tell you the story for my nationality is that they come in to Ellis Island off of the boat, and they were told that they were going to have jobs. They were lies that started back in the 1800s to get people here to build up this country for it to be what it is, right? And so every nationality was lied to and said, well, you got to build the bridges, build the roads, build the buildings, do whatever it takes to get this country up and where it's going. And now we look over, and I swear to God, maybe some of these people were here in the 1800s that are still running the country like if it was 1800. They have no idea, and nor do they care. They just line their own pockets with their own money for their own families, and they continue on with their legacy of being rich. Well, this is just a bunch of bullshit. It really is. And so when we talk about we need term limits, we're not messing around anymore. We are not messing around. It's about time that we actually start to say, okay, we want answers. We were told in the beginning to ask the questions, but have any of you ever noticed that we don't get the answers to any of the top stories that are out there? Any of them. We hear about the 3-letter agencies and what they're doing. We hear about this list that's out there. We hear about so much. We don't get any results. Are we not entitled to the people that built this country to get the answers that we want to hear? Everybody always says, I just want 2 or 3 years ago, everyone said, I just want the information out on mainstream media for everyone to know what we know. And so what you've got to do is you got to turn on the news, read between the lines, trying to figure out what their bullshit is, where they're going to pull you to, what their narrative is, where they want to take you to. And it's just been crazy. It's not only this country. I do believe it's in all the countries out there. UK is having an extremely tough time. And, I don't know what's going on out in Spain, but we'll find out tomorrow morning with Lewis Hanshaw. If he's in Spain, I don't know if he went back to the UK or not, but we're going to catch up with him. Then later in the day, we're going to catch up with Jack. We're going to find out what is actually going on at these forts. Why is China buying up all the land around all of our military bases? We're going to find that out tomorrow. I was going to touch upon it, then I changed my mind because Jack will be on here later in the day. But yeah, this is the craziness, and I don't know about you guys, but I want some answers. I'll ask questions all damn day long, but if I don't get my answers, it does nothing for me. It does absolutely nothing for me. Let me say hello to Dakota is out there saying full-blooded American Italian female here. Hey, how you doing? And we should be voting on policies and not on politicians. Time to start diminishing the government's control. You better believe it. You better believe it. They talk about Doge and all this other crap that's going on out there. And, it just, to me, it's they're shining the light on the billionaires again. They're giving us hope about our freedom. Why can't we just take average American people and put them in these slots out there? Why do they all have to be millionaires and billionaires? I know that Trump has got a great administration that's coming in, and I'm very grateful for that. But it's this whole it's still lopsided. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. There's so much information that's lopsided. They give us what they want to give us. We ask the questions, we don't get our answers. How do you guys feel about that? That's where I'm sitting here today, right? And yeah, Sam is basically saying, yep, they won't live long enough for the consequences, nor should they, because they're buying into the lobbyists, they're buying into all this other stuff, and everyone is saying, well, okay, so Trump was certified yesterday. It's a great thing. That is a great thing. It was painful to watch. And I only watched maybe 15 minutes of it, and I said, I'm done with this stuff. It's silly that we vote them in, and then they still have to go through and certify them. But that's the Constitution, right? They follow the Constitution once. And let's see here. Sam is saying, I've been laid off and only got 2 weeks severance. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And those are the type of things. Yeah, people are getting laid off. There's so much that's happening out there. A lot of companies are closing down, right? A lot of things are happening out there. We're going to start seeing the big corporations somehow change and flip and do their things different. Downsize, right size. I don't know what the hell it is that it's called anymore. But that's just what I'm saying here. Oops. So spot on, Mr. President. China buying American farmland. We have to have control of our land. And let me see. Was this a video? This is just an exclusive. Trump plans to hammer China buying American farmland. We have to control our land. Yeah, so that was just the one story. Let me go back over to, what is this here? Oh, okay. So these are my China stories. So I went out and I said, give me all the stories on China out on X. The federal government is still allowing China to buy land next to our military bases in America because our leaders are totally bought and paid for by the communists. Totally. Is that going to change? Now we've got, Elon in there and Vivek, more billionaires. They're giving us hope every single day. And this is a map that I put out there. I couldn't put the whole map out there, but let's see if I can blow this up here. So you remember the days when the national anxiety focused on Japan buying up America? By the late 80s, Japan was snapping up iconic American assets from Rockefeller Center to Pebble Beach, according to 10% of all the commercial and real estate transactions. Now, flash forward to the present day, while China is U.S. farmland holding barely scrapes the surface, less than 1%, approximately 383 acres. They're saying it's just less than 1%, 383 acres. Do you know what people would do just to be able to get 10 acres of land? All right. So, yeah, let's see what else we have here. The Chinese investors currently own the land near Marine Corps base camps, Pendleton in California. Specifically, at least 277 acres in San Diego County, close to the base, are held by Chinese interests. I hope that tomorrow night with Jack that we shed more light on this and see what is actually going on here. If this is still current or if it's not. So I'm going to come back to you guys here. Stop sharing. I can see my internet has been flaky the last few days here. Yeah, so this is this is an article from January 14th, 2024, a year ago. Breaking: billionaire Chinese Communist Party members purchased nearly 200,000 acres in the land of the USA. These are the places that we are told that you cannot go to. No foreigner can buy land in China, yet the CCP is allowed to own American farmland. Food for thought, people. Colleen has got a statement out there that says we still have to get away from the corporate government. And how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? Joey G says Executive Order 13848 is coming to play. Now, Joey G will be on Sunday, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, or unless he can do the 7 o'clock, I'm not sure. Joey, you got to let me know. So Joey G will be back, and I'm asking my co-hosts when they come in to bring some stories with them so we can focus on really bringing you guys a little bit more in-depth stories. But thank you, Joey. Executive Order 13848 is coming into play. I don't remember what that executive order is, but it sounds very familiar. Yeah, why do the Chinese communists love American farmland? What is going on there? And let me just play this particular. This is I'm not sure what year this one came out, but I do believe it's current.
And the CCP knows how to operate. They know how to gain a foothold. You see them building up in Cuba and Central America. And why would they not do that? They are now in themselves also harvesting the fruits of an appeasement strategy from this executive branch that is willing to turn a blind eye to all of this behavior. So if we're going to turn a blind eye to it and not go after them, not hold them accountable, why would they not expand that? Why would they not continue to do it? And this is a very dangerous situation we find ourselves in now vis-a-vis China.
ICE has been following.
Yeah, we've got lots of instances where China is.
Okay, so that's this was the one story that I wanted to bring to you about this. Now, Joey is saying domestic and foreign election frauds. Okay, so there you guys go. I read it right, Joey, so I have dyslexia, so it was in your favor. All right, so these are the top stories that I want to talk about, right? We're talking about build America, make America great again, make our health great again, and just a little sidebar for that. So, you know, I every now and then my husband will go out to the store, and I will tell him how to read a label. I'm not kidding you guys, because he's bought so much bread that says at the bottom of it, it'll say all the stupid ingredients on it, and then that are bioengineered. And then right at the bottom of the label, it says bioengineered products, right? And I won't eat it. I won't touch it. So this morning he says to me, let me kind of close this out here, stop sharing this. And I thought it was kind of cute and sad at the same time, but he says, "What can I eat?" I said, "What?" He goes, "What can I eat? You've taken away my bread. You've taken away my bagels. You've taken away, pizza. These are the things." So when you go into, like, I'll just name a few stores, like the Walmart, I think makes their own bread there. I think, I'm not really sure. But if you go into a Publix and you're in the bakery, now this is his mindset. And I had to explain this to him. I said, you go into the bakery section, you pick up what says like Italian bread. Do you know, because you're in the bakery, do they make bread? Or did they just have this stuff shipped in? Because every time he comes home, I flip the package over and I said, I'm throwing things out that he doesn't even know that I'm throwing out. I'm wasting money. I'm wasting food. And that is so against my food religion, if you will. And so he just said, "What can I eat?" And I said, "Paul, when you go into these stores, you've got to look at the label. You got to read the back and always drop down after you see, first of all, if you can't pronounce the ingredients, it's made in a lab somewhere. It's processed." And so, and he, he kind of gets upset because he's when he goes shopping, he always buys two of everything, so he doesn't have to go back to the store right away. But this is where we're at. So, we're selling our land to the Chinese. What do they utilize in our land for? Well, let me kind of tell you. I'm going to go back a little bit further. And let me just minimize this one screen here. I'm not going to go back to the Trump thing, but I'm going to go back to when I lived in Illinois. Okay. This is kind of interesting story, and I hope you guys bear with me. And how does it tie into what the Chinese are doing? It's got a lot to do with it. So back in the, was it the 80s? No, this was probably more 90s. Always looking for a job, right? And I have some of my friends that are, that were at that time, people, started out with key punch and then they got into like doing other things on computers and putting information. And there was this company called, and maybe some of you have worked there, was called NTT Data, right? It was called NTT Data. And I remember hearing about it. So the town that I lived in is the next couple towns over was a town called Itasca. Very wealthy. Those are the towns that I used to drive through and just look at the houses and dream, right? I'm sure that all of you have those houses. Well, let me tell you this is that one day, and I worked in the town, and I remember saying, what's going on with this neighborhood? Why are the homes boarded up? What happened? People were speculating, oh, they're too close to O'Hare Airport, or there was some stupid thing that they were saying. So this is how AI caused a neighborhood of mansions to go abandoned. Let's just take a 3-minute listen to what this guy says, and let me know if you cannot hear it.
Something strange about this neighborhood in Illinois. I remember seeing kids playing outside and older folks enjoying their retirement. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but I had predicted something that most of them didn't see coming. In late February, most of the residents of this seemingly normal neighborhood got into their cars and left for good, never to return. A powerful entity I knew all too well had began spreading full force across Illinois, America, and as a matter of fact, the entire world. But what entity can grow to such a power that entire neighborhoods and even towns are taken over for its presence? This powerful entity I speak of is
Whoop, I wanted to go back just a little bit. Shoot.
Can grow to such a power that entire neighborhoods and even towns.
Okay, if you could see right here, there's a plane going overhead. So this is really close to O'Hare Airport, which is at the time one of the largest airports in the United States. Okay, you can see it's kind of low. It looked like the plane may have just taken off here. And this is one of the reasons why they said that this neighborhood went belly up, but it's not the truth.
Are taken over for its presence. This powerful entity I speak of is artificial intelligence. It all came at once in February. 10 minutes away, the neighborhood of Rapolo Estates had just vacated. 5 minutes from that, the neighborhood of Mohawk Manor had been vacated. And then, even closer, the neighborhood known as Merino Court in Itasca, Illinois. Despite little to no news coverage, I'd predicted with pinpoint accuracy every single neighborhood that was chosen to be taken over years in advance. But how can AI take over a neighborhood, you might be asking? In physical form, they build a data center because AI cannot exist without a vessel. NTT data centers built an over 70-foot tall building down the street. They then purchased 2 more office buildings.
So this, shoot. I think I went too far. So I was going to show you.
Street as time went on. In fact, this wouldn't be the case, and the last home would be built on the street in 1986. As time went on, everything rural began to disappear until office buildings surrounded the neighborhood up to their property lines. It was now a dot of
Okay, right here. I recognize this town. I know exactly where that is at. And I couldn't believe it. There's a brown building behind this first building here with the flag. I worked in that building. I actually worked for a Canadian company. It was called Quebecor. And I think I was on the 4th floor there. And while I was up on the 4th floor, I'm watching this neighborhood become vacant.
Residential in a sea of business. In fact, driving along this road, you wouldn't even be able to tell it was there unless looking at satellite images. Soon, offers for their homes started pouring in. But most residents here had lived here since the homes were first built. Unless they already passed away, the ones who first bought the homes planned to die here. In a public hearing, a resident was quoted by saying, "For Itasca's laws, everyone has to sell before anything can be built." But then, in February, they got an offer they couldn't refuse, and NTT data centers bought all of their homes. I spent months.
Okay, so I don't think I have to go through that anymore, but just so you guys get the gist of it. And I watched this happen. I didn't know it until I actually saw this video. I was like, holy cow. I wondered why. I mean, these homes back in the 80s that were built were huge. You know, you came for money, especially if you were in Itasca. They're very beautiful, but the jobs started popping up, and this NTT data centers were popping up. These NTT data centers are not just in Illinois. They are global data center locations where this gentleman was basically talking about the AI, and this is in just about every country out there. So you gotta have the brains of this AI, and this started probably a lot. I don't know. What I'm seeing from the information right now is from the 80s, and it was massive. So let's see here. This is more of the file. I'm going to go back. I'm going to jump back to the farmland that was reported by Sky News.
Security concern for Australia. Spare a thought for the United States. The New York Post has just published a report detailing how Chinese entities have bought up farmland surrounding 19 US military bases, including strategic nuclear sites. Now, while the Chinese entities make up only about 1% of foreign land owners in the United States, it's the proximity of these land holdings to military bases that has raised concerns. Donald Trump agreed it was a major concern when the issue was brought to his attention by Dr. Phil recently.
The red is where Chinese government has funded buying major farmland.
Yeah.
And
look at this map. I'm not going to go through and listen to it, but you guys probably have seen this interview. It was out there. I don't know, maybe it's been a while. But look at this, California. Look how red California is. So this is where they're buying up the land. Washington, Texas, they got quite a bit in Texas and Florida. I was surprised to see Florida. North Carolina, a little bit in South Carolina, nothing in Alabama. A little bit in Georgia, and then of course, if you go over to the if you know where Illinois is, right here, it was all along one side of Illinois, and those are where the military bases are. I'm familiar with those, all the way up to Maine. Kansas City has a little bit, and a little bit in Colorado and Utah. There's quite a bit in Utah, so. That's what I wanted to basically show you guys. Yeah, and you know, if you read the comments in here, people are sitting there saying Biden is to blame. No, you guys, you got to go back even further. If I'm talking about what I experienced and what I lived through in the 80s out of Illinois, this goes probably even further back than that. They've been planning this for a while. Let me come back and chat with you guys here. Soul Travelers is basically saying China wants to take over America because we are going to need our land to feed their people. I love it. I love the thought process behind that, because she's not, I believe it's a she is not being mean. She is basically being honest and following her gut, because this is what I do too. And sometimes when I see something, I'm like, what they're presenting to me is not what the truth is behind any of this stuff. It really isn't. Let's see here. Sam basically said she picked up some vitamins that was bioengineered. Holy cow. And then you guys are talking about dowsing. Yeah, you gotta, just basically try all this. Lynn K says Michigan is bad with the battery factories in Holland. Yes, we had, I can't remember the woman's name that was co-hosting me out on Michigan. She was doing a lot of that, talking about the battery factories. I had a lot of people from Michigan on here a few times. We did some stories with them, and they were bringing awareness to that. I don't know where they are. They bought their own workers, so they don't pay taxes. This is the reason why, hopefully, this is what I'm saying, is that everybody told us, ask questions, constantly question everything that's out there. And I'm saying to you, I've questioned the hell out of everything, but I'm not getting any answers. So now that Lynn K25 put this out there, that Michigan is bad with battery factories, and I haven't had Oh, it was Michelle. Michelle from Michigan was my co-host, and she was updating everybody on this. I don't know where it stands right now, but is this still going on? You know, what has been done? You know, it's up to us, the people, to find out if there's something nefarious going on in your state, in your county, in your little town, your little village. Isn't it time that we actually go and ask these questions of these councilmen or whoever it is? Even your HOA, ask the questions. What the hell is going on here? We have every right to know. And one of the things that I've always found out is the psychopaths that hate to be questioned about anything, because they, and you saw Elon lose his shit one day because he's a billionaire and told everyone to go F your own face, right? Those are the type of things that we have to say, wait a second. Who the hell are you? I'm asking a question because I need to know, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we need to move on from that. So with this story about so you know, there are people out there saying, why are the sellers selling their houses? Are they dumb enough or greedy? And the word I think came to mind was greedy, because I didn't show you a lot of that video where the guy was going into the houses, but things were left behind. It was said that some people were paid 3 times the amount, and if they had a certain date, they all had to get out. They didn't take a lot of their stuff. They left it all behind. There was clothes in the closet. There was an RV camper out there. The guy that was doing the video basically asked the owner, hey, are you going to sell this RV? Because I'm interested in buying one. And then he was gone the next day. They got greedy. They were given the money and they said, hey, you know, you could go anywhere. You know, if your house was worth, let's just throw out $100,000, and somebody offered you $400,000 for a quarter lot of maybe a 2,500 square foot home, at the time in the 80s, you're going to take it and run. Yeah, because that was, you know, it was all about the money, right? The baby boomers were all about material things, coming from being a baby boomer. But it was, we always have to go back and really remember why we came to America. Why I told a story about my mother-in-law coming over on a boat, and you have some relatives that came over. No matter what nationality you are, whether you're Russian, German, you know, Italian, whether you're Turkish, whatever it might be, you all came here with a vision, a dream. And then when you get here and you find out, well, you know, we're not going to give you the housing. We're not going to give you the land that we promised you. We're not going to get this. You're going to have to work for it. So that's where the slavery started. So there was an Irish immigrant wave. There was a Chinese exclusion act. Ellis Island opened up at the time. There were Mexican fill labor shortage, and there was amnesty to undocumented immigrants at that time, right? There were so many different promises, and you can find any of this information out there anywhere that you go. And let's see here. We're back to the Trump thing. So this is all that I'm saying. If they want us here, and they want us to build this country, make this country great again, somebody is going to have to give us some answers. When we ask a question, what is going on? Why are we not getting any answers to anything? We don't hear. How many years have we been hearing about so many different things that they have done to us? We've been lied to. We've been bamboozled. We've been, you know, made slaves, all the stuff. You know, and now we got to wait 4 years. And now we've got Trump back in here and he's going to do it all in 4 years. I don't think so. Lynn K 25 is out on Rumble. It says it's all a takeover. I had heard that once they fly their flag, they have taken the land without any tax. Well, we're going to see. You know, maybe we ought to start writing or calling, you know, asking about this. If you're in a state where they've got your land, you need to call up a representative and say, where's the status on this? Do they still own our land? I would start there. That'd be the first question. I don't know. Maybe something has already been done. And everyone keeps saying it's just a movie. Colleen is saying out on YouTube here, it's true that the illegals are getting paid well to be here. My nephew was an assembly business, and that's all his clients are illegals. Yes, it's funny, Colleen. Times have changed because when my ancestors came over here with maybe a few $100s, and that's probably a lot of money at the time in their pockets, and they had to all pitch in. They came with their brothers and their sisters and mothers and fathers and babies and whatever. And they would say, let's all buy a house, right? And they all bought one or two houses so that they can live. And then they would try to find out what are the jobs that the white people would not do. And then they went and basically started to do those jobs and started to flourish. I mean, you know, there's every nationality out there has flourished here. If we go back 60, 70 years, 100 years ago, right? But they all went through a system where you had to be sponsored, right? And it was until Lyndon B. Johnson changed everything. I think it was at that time. And then all of a sudden, they wanted to buy the votes, and all of a sudden, you didn't have to be legal, but then you were given all this money. What the hell? What the hell? Right? And you are given things when you don't have to be a citizen. So I basically want to say I don't want to be a citizen anymore of the United States. I want another country. I'll go be get my second citizenship from, and then maybe I'll come back in the United States and be wealthy. All right, let's see, where are we at here? So let me just see. This is Greenland is the world's largest island. We're going to be hearing more about this on the news today. Let's just take a look.
Greenland, the world's largest island, known for its stunning glaciers, rich natural resources, and unique culture. But in 2019, this remote Arctic territory found itself at the center of a global controversy. Why? Because of a surprising proposal from the former US President Donald Trump. In August 2019, President Trump made headlines when he expressed interest in buying Greenland. Yes, you heard that right, buying Greenland. The idea sparked a wave of reactions, from confusion to outright rejection. But how did Greenland respond? Let's break it down. Greenland's government was quick to respond. In an official statement, they made it clear: Greenland is not for sale. The government emphasized that Greenland is a self-governing territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, and its people have the right to determine their own future. Denmark, which handles Greenland's foreign and defense policies, also weighed in. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen called Trump's idea absurd, adding that the notion of selling Greenland was completely off the table. So why was Trump interested in Greenland? The answer lies in its strategic location and vast natural resources. As climate change opens up new shipping routes and access to minerals, the Arctic has become a hotspot for global powers. Greenland, with its untapped potential, is a key player in this new geopolitical game. We'll see. Why? Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. And we're going to find out more because that's what's in the news right now, right? I was just going to see if there was an update out here. I'm going to close all this out and just see if there's an update out on X to see. Just bear with me 1 second here. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. Shoot. All right. I didn't want to lose Rumble. Hey, all right. So I want to jump back before I go to X here. So Lynn K25, I actually looked in about them buying up the land, I guess, in Michigan. It says my commissioners say that they can't do anything. When we get somebody like that tells us that that it's not in their hands, they have no answers for us, then we continue and we keep searching and we go around them, basically is what I'm saying. And we need to do that. I didn't see anything here in Alabama. I know in Arkansas, Sarah Sanders took the land back from China. That was a story I did twice last year, and she got kudos for doing that. But let's just see here. Mary is out there saying,
Oh, she's talking about there was no climate change on the ice, I guess. Yeah, Colleen has got a good statement here. I prefer not to be a part of the system that is so corrupt. What isn't corrupt? I'm telling you. All right, so here we go. The first picture that popped up when I went to X out here is from Elon Musk. It says, if the people of Greenland want to be part of America, which I hope they do, they would be most welcome. And here is, I think, Charlie Kirk, Don Jr., and I don't know who this other guy is. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is, but that doesn't mean anything. They don't know who I am. And let's see here. This is them with, I guess, the people there at the airport. So, we're going to hear a lot more. People are asking, what happened to the shrinking government and the draining of the swamp? Buying other countries will require untold amounts of additional bureaucracy and money besides simply being the NAU is just another name. Well, that's a good question. These are good questions. These are the things that we need to start asking. And that came from, I don't know what the name was, Drunk something or other. This is from the 76 Signal saying, when I heard you were going there initially, I thought it was something funny. I can't wait for both Greenland and Canada to become a big, beautiful, terrific territory of the United States. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think out there? Should we just leave it as it is, help other countries flourish and stay remaining within their own? These are the type of things that we need to take a look at. Let's see here. I'm coming up on my hour, and I'm going to stop sharing and come back to you guys. I want to see what you're saying out there. Colleen has got a statement. Says, I've been out of work for 12 years and haven't received one red cent, which is... This is exactly what I am talking about. This is such bullshit. You get these billionaires, it's kind of like watching the second part. It's like the good guys versus the bad guys, the black hats versus the white hats. The black hats were the deep state, where the white hats are the other end of the billionaires that could fly around and fly into Greenland and show you things and smile and take photos. And just, everything is just, whoa. What does it do for the American people? Are we, I need answers. Are we going into Denmark because, they don't have a lot of resources there? That's where my heart goes. And are we just, what else is there? A lot of people say that they've got a lot of gems that are there in the land and stuff like that. There's so much. I don't even know. I haven't dug into that. So if anybody wants to dig in it and has dug into it and come onto my channel and talk about it, you're more than welcome to. Let's see here. My co-host is Lynn K25 out on Rumble. Says, how can we do Canada and whomever when we can't take care of our own? Where's my bell? Sorry if that hurt your ears, but you are right. You are so right. What, it's kind of like we have to take care of our own before. We got to put the mask on ourselves before we can help the someone next to us breathe, right? Or is that the old way of thinking? Now we just go around. I have no idea. We got to see what comes out of this story here. Let's see here. Colleen says Trump has to officially be in the office first. You better believe it. And how many more days do we have? This is the 7th. He'll come in on the 20th. He was just certified yesterday, I do believe, on the 6th of all days. And let's see what else we have out here. So this is just my thought. We have to take all these different pieces of the puzzle and try to put them together to make some sense. So we have, we had a lot of countries, supposedly Japan came in and bought up our land and we kicked them out. Then China came in and bought up the land all around the militaries. Was that a Biden thing? Was that part of the CCP? I have no idea. I can only speculate. We don't have any of the answers. Why this even happened? Has anybody actually asked Trump why are they doing that? I haven't found an interview. If you find an interview, let me know. I'd be glad to play it. And Mary is saying we have no less than about 2 weeks that are left. And then it's kind of like I don't want to put all my belief into Trump, of him saving the world, but maybe he is going to save the world. I have no idea. Who the hell am I, right? But all that I could say is that people here, we're back to hurting. We are back to, there's no jobs, no money. We're being taxed out of our yin yang, and people are just trying to figure out, where the next meal is going to come from, or what they're going to eat. We got to search our food to see. Even that's what my husband said. He goes, I can't even buy fruit because you're telling me fruit is bad. And this is just, a 65-year-old man that is just like thinking I'm off my record because I'm saying all this stuff to him, that he doesn't eat healthy and he's trying to eat better. He does love too much bread though. But that's where I'm going with this. There's just so much, but we can only do what we can do. Take one step at a time. And then when we're ready, we start to go after our local, I don't know, government people, if you will, and especially if you're in a town where they bought up all your land, right? Why did they buy the land? Mary is saying in Spain, it's almost the same. You don't have as many chemicals in your food as the people in the United States, hence the size of I am. And I can't lose it because I'm older, but I also don't move my ass as much as I want to. I think all the time. Tomorrow I'm going to get up and go. Lynn K25 says, truthfully, I'm so very tired of seeing good people getting stepped on because we care more about other countries. And it's okay. I mean, that's starting to sound like the far left liberal shit where they have so much empathy. That's how they got that way. They care so much. They have so much money. They don't have to worry about all these other little things that I'm mentioning. And they have so much empathy for them that how dare you say something like we don't want to help Denmark? Well, I want to help the veterans. I want to help the people that got hooked on, not phonics, that got hooked on all the drugs out there, the opioids, the ones that are living in the streets. We have more people living in the streets, and it breaks my heart that they don't have a roof over the head, or we don't have the help of mental institutions to help them because of the drugs. I happened, one more minute here, I'll take with you guys. I happened to watch another interview with Joe Rogan where they were talking about a psychedelic drug. I think it was called, Ibogaine, I believe is the name of it, Ibogaine. And that is only administered with medical people in 2 places in Mexico. But it gets you off of your and get your brain back, get you back to who you were before you were on these drugs. A lot of people have pros and cons about that. They won't do it in the United States. But at the same time, we got to have some sort of a plan into place to help our own. That's all that I'm saying. And I want answers. That's what I'm saying. And so that's all I have for here. Lynn K25, her last statement before I leave says, I may absolutely want our people to get the help the way that they need it. I do too, because from a level of global consciousness, if it's affecting one person on one level, it's affecting everybody. And you guys know how that works. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys stopping in here. And anybody out there, if you have things that you want to send to me, please just send it to this particular email. It's at the bottom of the banner right now, ttpreadings@gmail.com. I look forward to tomorrow, 2 shows, one with Lewis Hanshaw and the other one with Jack Lander. Hope to see you guys then. The first show is at 9 o'clock Central Time. And the second show is at 5 o'clock Central Time. See you then. Bye now.